Take my love to wishing where I'd go. We make my soul right out.
Happy Tuesday, everybody. Welcome the fuck on in. This is what I'm looking for. I hope you're all having a wonderful fucking evening. Really good to see you guys up in here. I've had a busy fucking day. A very, very busy day. And I wasn't even really at work. I was just at home and doing a lot of video editing and music production. I finished a song that I started working on last week, and I'm now in full swing putting together a fun little video for it. I've posted a lot of teasers of it to Twitter, and a lot of people seem to have been very receptive to that, so that's fucking awesome. But, I can't wait to unveil that. But in the meantime, it's Stalker Tuesday. It's that day of the week where we just sit the fuck back, we just chat about whatever, I kill mutants and dudes, and we just soak in some fun atmosphere and a nice little fireside chat in this little nightmare world that we live in. So, I'm gonna head on down to the bar, we're gonna talk about what I'm gonna be doing on today's Stalker Tuesday, and I'm excited to spend this evening with you as I do every Tuesday. You guys actually just really mean the fucking world to me. Like, I take a lot of things for granted, and I think in a lot of the anxiety that I've been kind of like swimming in and ducking in and out of this past month or so, it's kind of been a little bit easy for me to kind of like forget that there's a lot of y'all that are really just here for me, and are happy to be a part of this little community, this little niche that I've carved out for us, you know? And that's always what the PCHC has been about. It's been about love. It's about, you know, giving a shit about each other and being there for people who are just trying to make a difference and make something bright in this world. So, no matter what, even if I don't really get to say it as much because I'm so scatterbrained, or I've got the fucking, you know, the fucking estrogen brain fog, or I'm just dealing with a lot of shit, even if I don't really find the moment to say it, I want you all to know that you guys mean the world to me, and no matter what, I don't think I could really be the person that I am if I didn't, you know, if I couldn't come on stream and I couldn't just chat with you guys about whatever the fuck and feel like maybe there's a purpose to everything, you know? Maybe there is an impact. Maybe I will have some kind of maybe there are things I can smile about and say, you know what, I did something good for people. You know, I wasn't a union organizer, I wasn't a fucking an activist or a lot of things, you know, but at the very least I got together a lot of people and I managed to create a place where people can talk about the things that make them smile and find reasons to smile and be happy with that, you know, and feel like there's a place for them and feel safe about that. I don't really get to say that enough, and God, listen to me. It's been a tough time, is all I'm gonna say. But I'm doing my best to swallow my anxiety and keep being the person I know y'all know I can be. So, let's get into it, shall we? Ah! I forgot. Here I am. Here I fucking am. I'm being all sentimental, I'm being all emotional, and I forgot to take out the fucking Goku standee from when I had Soup on stream last week. So I'm getting all fucking emotional and shit. And then it's like, wait a minute. Something's not right about this bar scene. Nix, if I clip this, I need you to fucking send me the soundbite you have of like the first note of Goku's theme. So I can put it over that, because that'll be a fucking blast. It'll be a fucking blast to edit into a little thing. God. Why you get emotional with Coke? This is the stand-in for Soup, because I had him on Sunday, but the Fugitech thing wasn't working properly, so he didn't have a reactive. Whenever he joined the call, his image was just a fucking Cloudflare error message. So I put just a static PNG of Goku on screen to stand in for him, and I forgot to get rid of it because I was in such a rush to go live. God. Rip Goku's here. You know what? Can I keep him here? No, I'm not gonna keep him here because then people are gonna think Soup's on stream. And I don't want to do that. I would love to have Soup on stream again, though. I don't want to keep him there, but... But yeah, How is we, says Lucky? Good to see you, by the way. Congratulations on just coming back from the gym, and I hope you fucking killed it. You know what's funny is, I might have just put out some good fucking gym music tonight. I finalized and released a little funk music edit of Next Hype by Tempa T, which is an absolute UK grime classic, and I made a funk edit of it, and I'm super fucking proud of it. And I'm presently putting together a drifting video to go along with it, but I'll link it here in the chat for you guys, actually, and I'll pin it for, like, the first hour, because I would like some of y'all to hear this, because obviously most of the streamers I've been hanging out with have all heard it anyway, but I do want y'all to see this. Let's see. Customize time. After 60 minutes. There we go. Oh, it can only go for 30 minutes? 30 minutes it is. It'll unpin after 30 minutes. Here we go. So, it'll be pinned for a little bit. But yes, I did work on a little video. So, if y'all want to hear some good music that might be good for lifting weights or driving to, go check it out. To answer your question, Map, no. I am a little bit shook. Why is Soup still here? I took him out. Oh, I know why. I know why. He was on the TV screen for some fucking reason. But yes, I'm, to answer your question, I'm, a little bit frazzled. Y'all probably have heard it a little bit in my voice, but I've been struggling a lot with anxiety. I've been really kind of like beating myself up and dealing with a lot, and I mean, like, to say that it's a lot would be to imply that it's like many different things, but it's really only like a few very specific things, like maybe like 2 or 3 things, but they are a lot. They are, you know, they each have a lot of weight, and I've been just kind of like, I'm gonna be honest, I'm getting like a pit in my stomach every time I go live, and I'm sitting here thinking, why can't I just do it? Why can't I just hit the fucking button? Because I'm just like, I don't know. I'm a different person now, and I don't think in a way that I really am happy to be, but I promise I'm trying my best, you know? I'm really trying my best. But to give a more definitive answer for your question, I'm anxious and, you know, struggling, but I'm still finding ways to smile and keep doing what I do, and I'm finding ways to take pride in the things that I do, and I'm finding ways to be happy for what I have and for what we have, and I'm doing my best to keep that up as well as I can, you know? Because I love you all, and feeling like I can connect with all of you is the most important part. That's what makes everything worth it. And no matter how much anxiety I get about pushing the button and going live, or something going wrong, I know for a fact I can always still take solace in the fact that no matter what happens, I've got people out there that are happy to spend any amount of time with me, even if it's just a couple of seconds, and that means a lot. But I want you guys to know that it goes double for you. No matter how much time I get to spend with all of you, whether it's in a Discord call, in DMs, on Twitter, like just exchanging silly bullshit, or here on stream, you guys are the most important thing to me, and I can guarantee you that all of you there in the audience, every single person up in chat here tonight, a lot of you are absolutely the most important thing to somebody else in chat, or somebody else in the world. Legitimately. That's the thing that I want to keep going about the PCHC. That's the thing that I want to be the most important part about having this little community that we have. And I want us to be different than just any other fucking streamer community where it's just like, you know, here's my people, I give them a nickname, and, you know, they just fawn over me. I don't want that. I want you all to, the energy that you give to me, give it to each other as well. You know? When you're like, you know, dealing with some shit, be there for each other. Make sure you all understand that. All right? That's what makes the PCHC different. That's what has to make us different. Is that we have to have a type of connection, a type of almost brotherhood or sisterhood that needs to be fucking, you know, held aloft and cherished. And that's no matter what. I want you all to do that as best as you can. That being said, Lucky says I don't usually take my cell phone to a gym since it's a distraction, but I'll give it a listen. That's valid. Fish, welcome on in. It's been a while since I've seen you, homie. How are you doing today? Last time you were in, I remember you were kind of in a little bit of a rough spot. So it's really good to, anytime I get to see you in, I'm like, yes, Fish is doing good. I'm fucking super excited to see him. It's great. You're an OG, my man. How are things doing up there in Poland, my dude? Tell me all about it. But in the meantime, let's get down to business. Tonight, I wanna let off some steam. I've spent all this time talking about my anxiety because I want to find a really good way to just let the, just really get the fucking, the stress out, get the anxiety out. I know exactly how to do that. We're going to pick on some easy targets. The bandit base in the Dark Valley, raiding it is a long-standing tradition on this channel. And I always like to go up there and just clean it out sometimes if I really feel like squeezing a stress ball. If that stress ball happens to be wearing a tracksuit and it also bleeds when I squeeze it. But that's not important. The important part is that bandits can sometimes be a decent resource. It's not going to be as resourceful as, it's not going to yield as much loot as killing mercs or monolith, but I want an easy target tonight. This is me going out to the playground and picking on like the first kid I see, just because it'll be funny. I think there's validity. And just like, sometimes I just want something a little bit easy. So we're gonna go bully some Gopniks tonight. Fish is fine, finally got back from COVID. Having a beer and playing. Dude, you had some, oh shit, dude, I'm sorry you had some fucking COVID, man. I'm really proud of you for coming back from it, though. I got really badly sick in September. And it fucked me up for a good while, but I was happy I was able to bounce back from it, even though I didn't bounce back from it quite as quickly as I thought I would, but I definitely got back from it quicker than I would if I had COVID, because I did have COVID back in June of last year. Not really bad, the fever was the worst thing. Oh, abso-fucking-lutely. You just kind of end up, like, depending on your vaccination state, you just kind of end up with, like, a weird, like, shitty cough for a good few weeks. But the first night I had it with like, like a triple shot in me. I had the fucking JFK. I had like the first night, I thought I was gonna die. I deadass thought I was dying. I was like, holy shit, this is the worst I've felt in like years, dude. Holy fuck. But it's the, it sucks, it is what it is. Hutton Fortune says I get it, hitting that big stress button called start streaming, then it goes away a little once you hit it. Yeah, the problem is that, like, there's, like, the stress of hitting the button, and then there's the stress of doing it live. Because the worst thing about it, right? Also, good to see you up in chat, Huntin' Fortune. I haven't seen you in a fat minute. And it's always wonderful when I do get to see you. But obviously, it's not like, oh, I don't see you, where are you? It's more like, oh, it's good to see you again, That's kind of how I try to come across. I'm always worried of being like, oh, it's been a while since I saw you. How you doing? Because I'm always worried people will interpret it as like a, oh, why don't I see you anymore kind of thing. But it's like, everybody's got their reasons, dude. I always get lots of people. Also, I accidentally took my glasses off, put them back on, so let me fix that. But BRB gonna go play some Gwent. Sounds good, Fish. We'll be here. But yeah, no, it's like, I sometimes get a lot of people who are like, oh, sorry, we don't talk a lot. And I mean, granted, I do that sometimes too, but anytime somebody tells me that, I'm like, bro, don't fucking worry about it. It's like, we're all adults. I got people I don't talk to for months, and then I hit them up and they're like, hey, how's it going? And I'm like, yeah, see, this is it. This is it. So I get that, but yeah, no, it's good to see you though, and I appreciate the kind words and the understanding, because there's the anxiety of going live and there's the anxiety of being live, and the worst part is I beat myself up a lot because I realize when I'm like distracted from the stress and the anxiety, and I'm freaking the fuck out about the little shit, I feel like I don't get enough. I feel like I don't get enough. Oh, this is actually funny because Mono's addressing this very thing, actually. But I worry that I'm not being enough of an entertainer when I'm stressed about it, because I'm not focusing on, like, playing up bits, and I'm not focusing on finding good and engaging discussion to talk about. Granted, that's bullshit, because I had a stream where shit was going really bad on the technical end on my end, and yet we still had a really, really good discussion, and I was very passionate about it. So obviously this, like, sort of, like, self-doubt is baseless, and it's just me beating the fuck up out of myself. But I hate to say it, but sometimes it's all I really know how to do, and it takes a lot to really get myself out of that cycle. But anytime that I am kind of able to initiate a sort of like reverse tailspin and get myself out of that sort of whirlpool, and I can finally swim to shore again, it feels wonderful to have the sun on my skin, if you know what that means. Mono says, my solution to that pit was giving up on the idea of having to give an entertaining performance. Not sure if that would work for you too, but I figure it was worth a mention. Well, ultimately, I think there's a lot of credence to what you're saying, because I don't think you're saying that, like, you should just actively not give a shit about what you do. It's more like, don't stress it, you know? Like people are here for you, and they'll have a good time if it's you, no matter what you're doing. That's like a thing I've grappled with a little bit this month. I promise we'll get to Stalker, by the way, but like I haven't really gotten to have a heart-to-heart with all of y'all because I've been feeling like I need to just be in and out before like something breaks down, and it's fucked with my head really bad. But there's credence to that because like ultimately, like I feel like no matter what, like what was I trying to say? October, right. Because I'm trying a lot of new games that I probably would never have played on this channel before this October. Because like I said, how do I make the Halloween month special on a channel where I'm always fucking playing horror games? And what worked was I was like, well, I'm gonna bust because October's special. It's my favorite month of the year, and it's the spooky month. So because of that, I wanted to bust out of my usual bubble and think outside the box and say, how about instead of only playing games that are like the most on-brand thing ever, how about we play things that are outside of my box? We play, you know, fucking strategy and tactics games and RPGs and stuff that you would never see on this channel normally, you know? So it's like, you know, maybe like, obviously, you know, I always thought to myself, well, maybe viewership is going to suffer a little bit because like we're not going to be playing, you know, Stalker or FPS or horror, and that's what a lot of people who follow me for. But like, it's like fucking, you know, it's just like, I don't care. Like if people want to tune in for it, they'll tune in for it, and that's all that matters. You know, I don't try my best to make my shit palatable for like wide audiences because I don't want to do that. That would sacrifice a lot of my own integrity, and I wouldn't have fun. And I know for a fact that I still play a lot of things that aren't palatable to the audience, and at that point, trying to like lure people in with like algorithmic, you know, fucking like optimization and shit, only to just, you know, have them come in and it's just me talking for like 30 minutes about a band that I like while I play like a survival game. It's like, that almost feels like trickery to me. And I wouldn't feel good about that, you know? At the end of the day, the most important thing is to be yourself and have fun being yourself. And I do that most of the time when I'm not beating myself up about it. But that's all that matters, is that if I am having fun being myself at least once a day, then that is more than enough. Mono says, you get me. It's interactive, loose improv with a video game, not a buzzsaw. Yeah, exactly. So we're just here to have a good time, and I don't really give a fuck about, you know, like I'm gonna try my best to really sit back and say, let's kill some fucking anxiety tonight, you know? Let's do what we can, and let's have a good time here. Because I'm sick of having my fucking heart in my throat every time I click the button, but I'm happy to be doing what I do nonetheless, and I'm happy to be spending that time with all of you. Because you know what? Things have been looking up, and recently I've had a lot of extra reasons to smile added in, and those mean the world to me, and I couldn't be happier for where things are going right now. So let's just do what we can to keep those smiles going. So, let's keep our smiles going by ending a couple of others. Follow me this way. And you'll see that 1, I forgot to remove soup, and 2, I forgot to update the title of the stream. Whoops. Silly me. It's all good. Set the capture to Stalker. There we go. Turn this down to -9. Let's drop some tracksuits. So what you may notice is I have a new save in here called Gun Anims 2. That is because Nixie, our beloved friend in chat, blessed to her, at one point made a joke about gun reload ASMR in the rain. So then I just said, I'm gonna do that. So then I just went in, I loaded up a save with debug, and I got like all the weapons from boomsticks and sharpsticks, and I just started doing reload animations, and just like recording those, and I have a whole folder full of them, and I'm excited to just make a little video about that. Probably gonna add some Kino in the background for the fuck of it. That's not what we're here for. Hey, wait a minute, hold on a second. I'm about to make the same mistake I made last time. Yep, give me a second. I have to reload Stalker. Because I forgot to turn off the RZ's radiation overhaul mods that I had on 2 weeks ago the last time I did a stream. Because then I turned them off for the stream, and then I turned them back on again. Like a fucking idiot. So, let me get to that. Also, actually looking over at my model, I'm really happy with... Oh shit, I forgot to turn off the... I forgot to delete the shader cache again. Because the fucking the RZ's rad overhaul technically affects the shaders because of how the compatibility patch for the shader-based night vision goggles works. Is that Skinny Pete? There we go. All right, now let's load this shit up. But yeah, no, Nix is almost asleep with those playing. Oh, absolutely. Speaking of Nixie, let me give Nixie a shout out. Our wonderful Dragon VTuber friend, the best of the best. Please go check them out. They do lots of really, really cool content, and I love all of the really awesome shit they have set up with their model and their overlays and everything. It's peak. Just giving the credit where it's due. I do it for everybody. So, we're gonna head on back and... Oh, right, no! I forgot! I closed stream early 2 weeks ago, so I'm actually in Yantar right now. I'm not in the bar. I still have to get to Yantar. So we've got a little bit of work cut out for us. And I imagine some spending on medical supplies. Suffer from Titanfall 2 withdrawal. Oh shit, I'm sorry, Mapno, but I really hope you're able to get back to it. Hopefully it remains stable. Yeah, me too. Fuck. Here we go. I loaded the wrong save. I loaded my solo offline save. Fuck me. But yeah, so... Obviously, the biggest issue that y'all have noticed me complain about while I've been streaming Stalker thus far is that my armor is fucked up. It's really, really fucked up. It's good armor. It's good armor, I promise. It's got good carry capacity and good insert slots, but the problem is that it's the worst fucking durability in the world. This goddamn thing fucking crumples after a couple of cat scratches, and I can't stand that. I would like something... Hero Flame X's salutations. Ah, welcome on in. Just a moment. Does this sometimes. There we go. Salutations to you too, Hero Flame X. Did I come at a bad time? No, not at all. There was just a there was a technical issue I had to fix. But yeah, no. So the big issue is that my armor is like has terrible durability, and I would like to get my hands on some armor that doesn't, you know, fucking fold after a couple of bullets. So naturally, I think a big part of how we're gonna, you know, fund a little bit of this is dealing with some Gupniks. The problem is that this is going to be a completely payless mission. Nobody is asking me to do this. I'm just going in to kill them, Would you consider Titanfall 2 for a stream? Hell yeah, I would. That game's great. I fucking love Titanfall 2. Just because, huh? Just because, huh? I misread your message. I misunderstood. Yes, absolutely. Because I like easy targets, and a bunch of criminal scumbags in tracksuits are tonight's main course. I was playing Titanfall 2 a lot, Mapno, actually, right when quarantine started. But then the bot crisis hit. You know, the bot crisis. The event that caused us to be at a state where it was like, hey, what's your favorite game, Sascha? Oh, mine's TF2. Which one, Sascha? Well, you see, it's a first-person shooter on the Source engine. Which one, Sascha? The one where it was overrun by bots as a result of a source code leak that happened because of Postal 3 of all fucking things. Which one, Sascha? I swear, there's almost something really, really poetic about the fact that Postal 3 was so fucking bad that it actively ruined multiple other games. Like that's some, like, insane shit to think about. Oh, right, I have to turn Duna back on again. Here we go. I would have to double verify my sources, Mapno, which I admit I haven't done, but I did hear through the grapevine. And I also just like saying it because, one, sometimes spreading misinformation can be funny, and two, it is funny to imagine. But I do remember hearing from at least one source that I think was corroborated by somebody that, for the most part, the source code leak of the source engine itself that resulted in so many exploits being so widespread at that point, which primarily affected Team Fortress 2, and by extension began to affect Titanfall 2, primarily as a result of EA not really paying Respawn Entertainment to actually do proper upkeep, was primarily because of a source code leak that happened because of Postal 3. Because Postal 3 is in the source engine. Postal 3 runs on the same engine as Titanfall 2. So, Dorothy says, hi, Sasha. Hi, Dorothy. Welcome on in. How you doing today? Welcome on down to Stalker Tuesday. We're going to be shooting Gopniks. Hero Flame says, may I ask a question? You may ask a question. What do you mean, huh, Map? No? Yeah, Postal 3 is on the source engine. The source engine wasn't exclusively for good games. It was mostly for good games, but sometimes you got shit like Postal 3, which, of course, as a lot of people don't seem to know, was created by the people who actually already kind of had some history with running with scissors, because they made an infamous little expansion for Postal 2 called Corkscrew Rules, known in Russia, its native country, as Stoporzhot. An expansion that basically just makes Postal 2 Russian and adds a whole new storyline. And when I tell you that it makes the regular Postal 2 like gameplay and sense of humor look like fucking modern art with all the sensibilities of Caravaggio, I'm not fucking around. It's garbage. And then, nice argument, Battle Made. Do you have a source to back that up? My source is that I made it the fucking incinerated myself is what happened. Doing pretty good myself. How are you? Doing good. Doing the best I can. I've been busy as fuck today making a song, which you can actually see in the pinned link there in the chat. And I'm working on a music video for it presently. Because I hadn't made a music video since spring of last year, and I was very proud of that. And I was like, well, how about I make something else? How about I keep myself in practice when it comes to video editing and stuff? And I was like, well, I've never tried any kind of like montage edit shit, so let me you know, try my hand at it. And you know what? It's going good. Mapnos is gonna lurk. Have a good stream. Don't get lost in the zone. Thank you, Mapno, and I hope you have a good lurk as well. I'm gonna try my best. I mean, I'm atrociously over-equipped for dealing with a bunch of Gopniks and tracksuits, so I think I'll be okay. But, you know, there's always kind of something that goes awry here in the zone. Don't we know it? Speaking of things that go awry, these fucking anomalies, dog, I swear. They'll snipe you with a sawn-off. Don't push your luck. That already happens. Also, speaking of this game, the Screen Space Shaders mod just got updated yesterday. I probably should have updated it, because it fixes a lot of things. But I'll get to that tomorrow, I think, after work. Well, whenever I'm done doing all of the extra video editing, because I presently have, like, 2 minutes left of video editing to go with my music video, and, you know, when it comes to music video editing, 2 minutes is, 2 minutes is a lot. It's a lot. But, for context, with my Fonk edit, I opened up Need for Speed 2015, and I downloaded a no-HUD camera hack for it, and I spent most of yesterday afternoon, up until I went on a date, just fucking, like, going nuts with the drifting. Like, I have a really cool Mitsubishi Lancer build that I use for drifting, and the livery around it is inspired by Kyoko Sakura from Madoka Magica, and I just got a shit ton of drifting footage done, and all of it's in 120 FPS too. So I can slow it down to, like, half speed, and it's still smooth as fuck at 60. So what I've mostly just been doing is exactly that. What am I looking for here? Oh, it's Mercs. Hold up. It's so sick so far. Yeah, thank you. While working on it, I've actually learned about a lot of really, really cool techniques in video editing that I didn't know about. Like, I think I was talking about it on the Fallout stream with Soup, but, adjustment clips, which are a fucking lifesaver, dude. Holy shit. They make doing bullshit in, like, certain video editing, like, a lot easier. And I really appreciate that, because, God. But yeah, no, I'm, like, really impressed with, like, the weird thing with, like, one, making a funk track, and two, making, like, a drifting fucking montage video, is that I'm finding I'm surprisingly good at just picking up new types of media, or, like, new types of art that I, like, have not done before. Like, I have never, ever made a montage video before, and I've never made funk music before. And just somehow this past week, I was just kind of able to pick it up and make really good work with it. Dropped him. Oh, shit. Do I have my pistol out? He looks like he's busy with the fucking, thing, though. So let me just, Good night! No, don't! Come on, give me the rifle. Okay, there we go. I don't know, just, like, I'm kind of, like, genuinely really psyched out by the fact that I was just able to, like, you know, listen to a couple of, like, songs in the genre, but I don't really, like, listen to it much. I think a big thing that helps is the fact that I am pretty well versed in genres that have influenced funk. Like, I don't listen to funk, but I do listen to a lot of UK grime, Memphis, Houston, Dallas hip-hop, a lot of UK club music like early dubstep and garage, a lot of bass house and Chicago house. And that's essentially what funk is. Like, especially if it's drift funk, it's basically like what if you took like 3-6 Mafia Warship music and you added a ton of like UK garage and Chicago house influence over it to create this interesting, pulsing, distorted and like dark kind of club music. And it fucking pumps. It goes hard as fuck, dude. So I think that's just like how I was able to like pick it up as well as I have. It's just because I'm pretty versed in the cultures that influence it. And I think that's a thing a lot of people don't really tend to think about. Like, I was talking about this with Nixie last night, but, like, not like Nixie, like, you know, other VTubers I've interacted with named Nixie, that's just who I'm calling Nix. Anyway, but I talked with Nix about it last night, but, like, a big thing that I think is important is, like, if you want to listen to any type of music, I think you need to understand its cultural context. Like, when I first started out trying to make dubstep, and the only dubstep and the only music that I knew, like, was just, like, I just was like, oh, all I need to listen to make dubstep is dubstep. It's like, no, that's literally incorrect, because dubstep comes from cultures of reggae, house, drum and bass, all sorts of different cultures, and you combine them together, and that combination, that marriage of styles and cultures, creates the culture where dubstep is an inevitability. So by not actually like having a lot of like understanding or like, you know, cultural context of the influences that create that genre, I wasn't very good at making it. When it came to hip hop, back in 2016 when I was trying to make my own hip-hop beats, because Lord knows the only hip-hop I was listening to was fucking like Nujabes or whatever. And yeah, of course my fucking beats didn't sound that good, because like I didn't understand what like the if music is a delicious dish, a gourmet dish, you know, like let's talk about like a fucking like a gourmet goddamn main course. If a really good hip-hop song is a fucking delicious gourmet prime rib main course with sides and everything, every little piece of culture and music history that goes into it is your ingredients. Your marinade, that's your jazz, that's your soul, that's your blues, that's your fucking breakbeat, that's everything. Without understanding the cultural like background of this type of stuff, I don't really think you can really like expect yourself to make something that you can be proud of, or something that will really have like an impact, because at the end of the day, that's the most important part. And so when it came down to making hip hop, my earliest beats were mid. And you know what? It's okay to admit that some of your stuff is mid. I'm not like beating myself up about it. It's me being honest and saying that everything that a person makes, myself most of all, has always had room for improvement. And there was a lot of room for improvement in those beats. And the reason why was because I wasn't partaking enough in the types of cultures and music that is necessary to understand the cultural context, the time and place in which hip-hop is an inevitability. Those cultures, again, being blues, jazz, soul, R&B, and Lord knows what else. Once I started really sitting down and being like, okay, it's not enough to just listen to tons of hip-hop and say I know how to make hip-hop now. I need to have that context. I started digging into jazz. I started listening to Cannonball Adderley, to fucking, you know, like a Yusuf Lateef. I started listening to all of these guys. I started listening to fucking Billie Holiday, and that kind of shit. I started listening to soul. You know, I was listening to fucking, you know, De La Soul, Aretha Franklin. I've been listening to a lot of Bloodstone and Blue Magic and Curtis Mayfield. And once I started really understanding that, I started really recognizing where this influence comes from. And once I started being able to pull from the same influences, then I was able to make something that could replicate the sound that I had been chasing for so long. And so too is it true with anything else. So yeah, because I don't listen to funk, but because I've listened to a lot, I've listened to Scream and classic like UK garage and a lot of Chicago house like Felix the House Cat, and because I've listened to a ton of Ghetto Boys and Mike Jones, Project Pat, fucking Slim Thug, 3-6 Mafia, because I had that cultural context, I feel like I fared a little bit better when it came to picking up a genre I've never made music for before. Don't tell anybody else, but another big part of it is the fact that funk is an extremely formulaic music genre. But it's okay to be formulaic. There's nothing wrong with that. You look at dubstep at its most bare-bone components, at the very least, like, brostep is extremely formulaic. Festival trap? Also very formulaic. Lord knows drum and bass is formulaic. But I mean that, like, at the very least, like, the most, like, well-known aspects of funk are extremely easy to pick out. You get your kind of, like, saturated and distorted, like, bass-heavy, you know, like, kind of, like, simplistic house beat, sometimes with trap cymbals, and then you add in a main melody that's kind of the big focus of your song, that's primarily made by pitching up and down the cowbell sample from the Lex Luger pack. I'm not joking, by the way. If any of you have been listening to funk and you wonder why, like, it feels like all of them have a very similar sort of, like, synth melody and sound to them, that's because the main thing that is, like the main component for a lot of these most well-known tracks is a sample from the original Roland TB-808. Now, most people up in chat obviously probably already know from watching enough of my streams that the Roland TB-808... no, not TB-808. The TR-808. Because the TB is the baseline synth, like the 303. But the 808 is probably one of the most important drum machines, one of the most important, like, synths or samplers or drum machines in the history of music. I would argue that of all of the many different synths that have been created and the many different types of, like synths and like, you know, kind of like devices, samplers, God knows what else, types of, like, you know, like electronic instruments out there. We'll say, like, out of all the electronic instruments, I would honestly say that that Roland TR-808 overtakes the Moog in importance. I would say the TR-808 overtakes the Moog because of its importance to hip-hop, to trap, to house, to drum and bass, to dubstep, to basically almost every single, like, EDM genre that we know as being as important as it is today either was made by the 808 or was inspired heavily and takes a lot of influence from genres that were made by the 808. The 808 is a cultural zeitgeist, and it's the hidden little fucking, like, dude behind the painting who's pulling all of those switches and making that big grandiose thing. And a lot of people don't know what's behind the fucking curtain. But if you want to think about if you want to think about the man behind the EDM curtain, that's the 808. That's the fucking 808. And again, the main synth that a lot of people use in their funk edits is primarily just a pitched 808. The cowbell sample specifically. You can hear it in, a Ghetto Boys track, actually. I believe it's Assassins. If you want to hear what it sounds like normally, go listen to Assassins by Ghetto Boys. And people just like make sampler patches out of it, and then they basically use it as a resampled synth, much like how a lot of like festival trap and EDM and big room house and all that kind of stuff was making heavy use of vocal samples like vocal synths back in the late 2010s. Right now it's the 808 cowbell, and you know what? Good, very good. And then, of course, you know, you got your pump and sub bass, you got your low-pitched vocals in the background, and a really, like, just a generally kind of, like, really, like, dark and kind of, like, this is like, you know, this is like a fucking, like, walking into a room and you're gonna kill somebody type of song. That's why I love it. 808 is a techno goat? Abso-fucking-lutely. Granted, there are a lot of other drum machines that I think are still very important. There's, like, a very... I can't remember the name of it, but there's a very specific type of drum machine that is basically like the unseen, hidden, like the unseen, hidden mastermind behind 90% of industrial metal back in its most seminal days. Like Godflesh used it, so many other bands used it. I can't remember the exact drum machine, but if I can find samples of it, I will literally blow somebody to gain access to them, because that drum machine was the GOAT. Rob G still uses the 808? Who's Rob G? I'm actually unfamiliar. Please tell me. Nix is fair enough. I love the Moog, though. Oh, the Moog is great. The Moog's important because, fuck, I mean, the Mini Moog? The Mini Moog is one of, like, the most important synths when it comes to, like, you know, that, like, new wave and, like that sci-fi-ish new wave and post-punk sound, because Gary Newman, the entire reason Gary fucking Newman, you know, Gary Newman, the guy who made the album that was the album that Trent Reznor listened to every fucking day while making Pretty Hate Machine, that Gary Newman, the whole reason he started making the music that was so important to new wave, to post-punk, to synth pop, and to industrial music is because somebody left a fucking Mini Moog in the studio while he was playing with his punk band. He just picked it up and started playing it. Old techno guy from NYC who helped create Gabber. Ooh, that's a hell of a fucking pedigree. I've never really been able to get into Gabber, but I do listen to a lot of genres and styles that are heavily influenced by Gabber. Good examples being Crossbreed, which is basically just a mixture of hardcore techno and Gabber with drum and bass. And Skullstep, which is a mixture of hardcore techno and Gabber with drum and bass. Are you seeing a pattern here? But the point being that it's a genre that I definitely know a lot of people who are influenced by, but I haven't listened to. New York City, like, New York is honestly, like, a lot of people don't really give it credit for being as important to a lot of genres as it is. Like, obviously, you know, there's, like, the importance of New York and hip-hop, of course. Like, that's, like, the one that people always come to. But a lot of people don't realize that, like, New York City, especially, was really important culturally to the no-wave movement. Now, if none of y'all know what the no-wave movement is, I've talked about it on stream, actually. Because I talked about it on my farewell stream right before my two-week break before my re-debut. But I have a lot more people here as host to my voice today than I did then. So, back when, like, synth pop and new wave were really kicking off, there were a lot of people who started to get an extreme distaste for that kind of sound. And Lord knows they had every fucking reason to. Because in America, shit was really fucking bad in the 80s. People didn't like to admit it, but America was a shithole. It was a complete shithole. You had the crooked, like, you had our crooked law enforcement pushing crack through the ghettos whenever, like, any opportunity they could as a means to try and just, you know, make everything worse. You had the housing crisis, a war in Afghanistan that we had absolutely no fucking business being a part of, and we only finally exited that exact conflict a couple of years ago, and people who made the decision of, hey, maybe we should stop killing, like, sending our guys to their death to go kill, like, innocent people overseas for a war that we've completely forgotten we even started or were a part of to begin with. And people who made that decision are still catching flack for it. And now, of course, as topical as it is, we have a whole fucking subsect of our culture and present government saying we need to go do that exact fucking thing again. No. Free Palestine. That's all I'm gonna say. No, it doesn't need to be extrapolated on because there's nothing I can add to the discussion. Free Palestine. But the point is that in the 80s, America sucked. Life in America was probably as bad as it could possibly be. But you had an entire culture of music, like the new wave music especially, basically trying to like make it seem like we had it as good as it could possibly get. You know, like America was a country for partying and having a fucking blast and everything, and it didn't make any fucking sense to a lot of people. It was like, why are we living like we're kings right now when we're literally all just on the top of the trash heap? So a genre started to form in the bowels of New York and a lot of the East Coast, more like, you know, like a lot of the more heavily populated and grungier East Coast boroughs, called no wave. And what it was a bunch of people just deciding we need to start like shining a light on how like bad shit is. We need to start this like overly sanitized and commercial view of what America is, of what music and life is. It's not just enough to not be a part of it. We need to actively push back. And I genuinely miss that. I miss when counterculture felt like an actual like pushback. It wasn't just, oh, we're just not going to partake in that, we're going to do our own thing. It was, no, there needs to be resistance. There needs to be cultural resistance. And cultural resistance is the exact best way to describe what no wave was. It was pushback against the sanitized and overly corporate mindset that began to pollute the music industry, began to pollute popular culture, as America grew heavily more commercialist and industrialized. The loss of integrity in art simply becoming a means to just push a sort of like goal and pushing a sort of like general like way we all need to think and feel. Obviously, I don't think like Duran Duran was insidious as the industry that was pushing them to the masses, but it wasn't like, obviously no wave was never about the bands that were creating new wave. It was about the radio stations pushing it, like pushing a very specific type of pop music and pushing out everything else. And even the bands they were pushing to the populace were all being ground into the fucking dust by an industry that they got tricked into thinking liked them. That was what no wave was about. It was about understanding that America was getting progressively more sociopathic, more commercialist, more industrial, and far less empathetic. And as a result, there needed to be cultural pushback towards the exact type of industrialist mentality that was creating the situation that birthed it. And that was what no wave was. Some good examples of it being Swans, the legendary band Swans, Suicide, Sonic Youth, and a lot of other bands. Suicide being an especially important example because they literally have an entire song about this kind of shit called Frankie Teardrop. There used to be like a TikTok or something challenge where it's like, see how long you can listen to this. No, it was like a radio show challenge or something where it's like, see how long you can listen to Frankie Teardrop in a dark room. But I didn't like that challenge because it completely removed the point of Frankie Teardrop and reduced it down to just being a scary thing. It removed the context and its cultural importance of being a song that was all... Out of every single piece of music that was ever released in the 80s, I think Frankie Teardrop by Suicide is the most comprehensive snapshot of what the 80s was like. And it's a song about a man who doesn't make enough money at his job where he's being worked to absolute death and he's struggling to feed his family and himself. And he comes home and he initiates a family annihilation. That's what it is. That's the entire song. It's 10 minutes, and it's some of the most gut-wrenching music you can listen to. And I think it was the most accurate snapshot, the perfect time capsule of what life was like for the 80s for everybody who wasn't fucking selling out concerts. Everybody who wasn't, you know, profiting off of fucking Wall Street and wasn't doing coke in the fucking bathrooms. For everybody who wasn't living it up on Wall Street, that was what life was just like in the fucking 80s. And that's why Frankie Teardrop is an important song. And it's a perfect example of what no wave was culturally. Manos has got to go now, but I may have to go to the VOD. This discussion is really interesting. Well, thank you. Realistically speaking, I have talked before about a sort of weird dichotomy that exists within me. That dichotomy is the fact that I love new wave music. I love post-punk too, especially. Post-punk is wonderful. And post-punk is obviously much more realistic and a lot more somber tone. But when you get right down to it, obviously, like, new wave is like another genre that I fucking love. And it's a really, really nice genre, but I hate to say it, and I think a lot of people don't like to admit it, but new wave as a genre was... I feel like you would have a hard time getting people to disagree with you that new wave as a genre was the point of no return for America's music industry and its culture. It was when music became an industry. Like you had Prince going onto radio stations and talking about how the way record labels and rights holders and all of these people worked was like if the fucking mailman like charged you for the mail that they delivered, you know? Or claimed that they owned the mail that they delivered. The 80s was the point of no return. It was that tipping point. It was that we can't go back. It was that no matter what now, no matter what happens, we have reached a point of, like, commercialist entropy. And new wave music is the most emblematic of that. When an entire genre of music was primarily pushed towards the masses, obviously, a lot of new wave music was really good, and I agree. I love it. But you can have good music, and it can still be primarily well-known simply because it was pushed to the masses. There are a lot of songs that are way better than, like, the best type of new wave out there. Just as there are songs that are worse. But, like, because, like, the discoverability of music primarily being based on its, like, how much that, like, you know, music industry fat cats think they can squeeze out of it financially... It just goes to show that, like, I'm sorry, but 90% of the time, if a song gets on the radio, it's not because it's really good. Even if it is good. I would hate if one of my songs was on the radio because I would know that the person who put it on the radio didn't actually fucking listen to it. They just thought they could squeeze a lot of money out of me. And that mentality, that mindset, that cultural point of no return is most emblematic of new wave. Is when all these bands were just making like a sanitized, let's just talk about partying and having a good time and love and everything else, and they did that as a form of escapism. But the music industry started to push it as a form of almost like a sort of smokescreen, like a cultural smokescreen. And that's why no wave exists, because they saw through that smokescreen and they knew that shit was as bad as it could get, and we needed to fucking change course. But unfortunately, they were too late. So the dichotomy exists within me of, like, loving new wave, but also knowing that it's, like, you know, the reason why things... Not the reason, but it's one of the most important tipping points in music. It's an invisible battle of the bulge, and the little guy lost. How weird is that, right? So for tonight's raid, I'm actually going to be using hollow point rounds. Because I don't want to waste FMJ on bandits. Bandits are very unlikely to be heavily armored, and I think that realistically speaking, it's probably for the best if I'm packing HP rounds, where I can do extra damage to people just wearing tracksuits and shit. I'll carry like one extra magazine of FMJ, just in case somebody pulls up on me, but for the most part, I shouldn't need to make use of it. Oingo Boingo is a really weird new wave, but still a political band. Exactly. And then you had, like, political and industrial bands dipping into new wave in weird ways. Like, for fuck's sake, you had, like... It was so... Honestly, it's weird. Because I love the sonic sound and the overall production on Outside the Gate by Killing Joke. I think it's a fantastic album. People hated it. You know why? Because, like, now that I first thought it was like, oh, I think people were just, like, pushing back against new wave. Yeah, they were pushing back against it because Killing Joke's a band where the fucking first song on their first album opens up with the line, man watching video, the clock keeps on ticking, he doesn't know why, he's just cattle for slaughter. And then they start, like, making, like, the most, like really, like, fucking, like, formulaic new wave music. I mean, obviously, a lot of people consider Outside the Gate to just be, like, a Jazz Coleman solo record at that point. And I can't blame them, because pretty much everybody else in the band left, and then they came back after Jazz stopped wanting to be Freddie Mercury. But after that point, it was, like, fucking... It was weird. I mean, granted, much like Oingo Boingo, Outside the Gate by Killing Joke was still a fucking political album, you know? For fuck's sake, the song America. the song America. It's like, it's exactly about, like, the song America was like a weird, like, sort of like non-thing, because it was literally about, like, the commercialization of America, America's idolization of war and everything else. And at the end of the day, it went over people's heads, primarily because it was packaged up like a fucking anything else song, you know? And don't get me wrong, again, I love, you want a good example? I fucking love Tears for Fears. I love Echo and the Bunnymen. I love all this stuff. It's good. It's really good. But, it's a strange thing, isn't it? Only Lad was a song about how shitty toxic masculinity was back in the 80s. Oh, don't even get me fucking started on toxic masculinity back in the 80s. Holy fuck. I wasn't around for it. Thank God. See, this is like why I love Stalker Tuesday and why I love the platform I have, because I know there's going to be a lot of people in my chat who probably don't know about a lot of this stuff. And that doesn't matter. If they do or don't, they can still be part of the discussion. They can talk about the parts of it that they do relate to, that they do identify with, that they do know. And if they don't know, they can learn. And there are things that I can learn from people from completely different perspectives about these types of things that I wouldn't have known. Just someone coming into the chat and saying, oh, I actually haven't heard of this music genre. I do know that the band that I do listen to has been compared to them, and I say, tell me the band. Tell me all about it. Let's fucking hear it. That's the good shit. That's the good shit right there. I love that. I fucking love that. So let me grab everything I need. Some of this needs to be put away. I don't need this coal. Field repair kit, no. Do I have like a heavy sewing kit? That could be a problem if I don't. I'm sure it'll be fine. Do I have any hollow point sniper rounds? Okay. BR4. Okay, so that's actually armor piercing. This blue is armor piercing, so generally just 7N1 is what I want. Okay. The song is like, dude literally kills someone and everyone goes, oh, come on, he's just a kid, boys will be boys. Ah, that's poignant. It's really poignant. See, I can see where that went over people's heads back in the fucking day. You know? It really is unfortunate that we get to that point as a culture. I think a big part of it, again, was the ever-important fact that the 80s were colloquially referred to as the age of mass murder. You know why? Because it was a fucking horrible time where just, like, they were fucking lousy with serial killers, everything sucked. Granted, you know, there's nowadays where we live in an age that is defined by the fucking frequency of mass shootings. And you could greatly argue that to be a hell of a lot worse. So I do have some errands to run before we get going on the main mission. First of these being that we have a drug making kit to return to somebody, and we have tools to return to somebody.
This is a live one.
ID 10.
Bullshit.
Welcome on in. Yo, let me give this motherfucker a shout out real quick. Everybody, please go check out our good homie ID 10, who is a super fucking talented modeler and everything. And oh my god, the shit this man does on stream, it's mind-boggling, dog. Yeah. Before I forget, what's up, boss? You came in at a time we were discussing serial killers and mass shootings and family annihilation. I'm sorry, man. We're talking about the sanitized and commercialist music movements of the 80s and the cultural pushback against them from a lot of music scenes in the grungier parts of the country, and how necessary their part was culturally. I love a topic to drop in on. Surprisingly, still not the darkest it can get on this channel. I'll be real with you, dog. Oh wow, these ammo parts are fucking heavy. Yeah, you can have these, Sioma. No wonder I was over encumbered. Ooh, I wonder if Petrenko's gonna want this thing. If I get like controller brain tissue and a controller hand, people will pay top dollar for that. My folks were deep in that scene. Oh, that's cool shit. That's cool shit. I love that. So we gotta deliver this drug making kit to Aspirin because he's been hankering for one, I think. Right? Is he the one who needs it? Who wanted the drug making kit? Semyon? No, I want Sioma. My mother hung out with a bunch of punk bands. Yeah! Well, we're not specifically talking about punk. We're talking about no wave. Which is absolutely like a product of punk, but it was like basically like when you had post-punk and everything, some offshoots of post-punk became new wave and synth pop, and some other offshoots of post-punk became no wave. But no, God, the punk scene is fucking amazing. I love that shit. God, you know it's a good band? The Replacements. Fucking love those guys. Okay, so this goes to Freedom then. This goes to Freedom as well, so we'll be delivering this and some toolkits to Freedom. Where's Sioma? And I also need an advanced toolkit to give to them as well. Oh, right, I gotta take these out of his inventory. Think that I've heard of them? Yeah, the Touche Amore covered a song by them, and I'm very, very fond of that song. It's got me through some tough times. Job's done. I don't have a Bureau hand, I'm sorry. Hey, we can do some extra sprinkling on the way there, that's good. You will take these magazines and this ammunition because I don't want them. Oh, wait, this is a Stendo clip. And that's a Galil mag, and I don't like the Galil. But I do have 7.62 magazines. Lord help me. What time is it? It's 17:32. We're presently sitting at around 5:30. Dwops have got to get an improved player for like Spotify or something like that. Explore music a bit more, very lazy about it. That's valid as hell. If I'm trying to like explore a genre and I don't have like bands specifically to go listen to, I'm gonna be honest, sometimes some of the playlists people generate as just like essentials of any genre are a good place to start. When I got into jazz last year, which was as some people who were, you know, like around me, like closer to me at that point, in some of my other circles, you know, knew me at like the time right before my re-debut, or like right before my PNG debut, when I had, you know, suffered a pretty bad injury at a Knocked Loose show, and I was presently what's the word, recovering, and I needed a little bit of a break from hardcore punk for obvious reasons, and I started listening to jazz, and I just went to Spotify and I looked up the jazz classics playlist that they generated, you know, and before long I was listening to, you know, fucking Cannonball Adderley and fucking, I love Cannonball Adderley, he's fucking great, and you know, Louis Armstrong and what is it, Billie Holiday. There was a time when I was building a house on a little Minecraft server I ran with my homie Zilly, where we were just kind of like building whatever, and I went up onto a mountaintop near our little village and I just built like a Japanese kind of like paper door home and everything in the rain while listening to Solitude by Billie Holiday, and I actually remember getting very emotional about it because it was the first time in God knows how long that I just felt really kind of like alone in like a way where it was like I wasn't lonely because I wanted people around. I was alone because like I wanted to be, and I finally had a moment to breathe and sit there and just kind of like take things in. And when I just like looked around at the rain falling down and just listening to those nice little kind of like notes that just play into the intro and just hearing Billy's voice in it, it was a really clarifying moment for me. And that all happened just because I just hit shuffle on the fucking Spotify Jazz Classics thing. And before long, I'm listening to fucking Cheek to Cheek by Louis Armstrong. Then I go to the Soul playlist from people, and I'm fucking jamming out to, like, Bloodstone and Blue Magic. Blue Magic is fucking great, by the way. Lots of love for that band. No matter what, like, even if it's only, like, the most surface-level stuff, just having, like, a singular band name is a pretty good thing to go off in a lot of cases. I can certainly speak for that. Funnily enough, injuries at hardcore shows is also topical. We can talk about that. Recently, a person wearing a fursuit helmet got hit pretty bad at a hardcore show for a band called From Joy, and some stupid fucking discourses arising because of it. You've got a bunch of people who have never ever been a part of the hardcore scene saying that apparently people in hardcore hate furries, or that like the idea that crowd killing and moshing that involves any degree of violence is a bad culture and you shouldn't allow it. You basically got like tons of people calling for complete sanitization of hardcore culture just because like they didn't like the idea that someone was the victim of an unfortunate accident. Did they deserve to be hurt that bad? No. Did they intended to be hurt that bad? I don't think so. I think somebody was just crowd killing. And my heart goes out to the person who got hurt, and I really hope they recover as quickly as possible and it goes as smoothly as possible. But I think that lots of people who are using this incident as an excuse to say, oh, this band is transphobic because, you know, obviously everybody in the crowd must have known this person was trans when they were wearing a fucking fursuit helmet. Which is bullshit. Or, oh, this band hates furries when, no, that's literally not the case. It's stupid. It's really fucking stupid. Well, it wasn't even there, like, I don't think it had anything to do with the fursuit helmet. Because, like, this was a person just, like fucking eyes locked sucker punch kind of thing. Yes, that type of crowd killing is super fucking mean and fucked up. But, like, even when I got my ass fucked up at the Knocked Loose show and I got, like, staples in my head for a week, I wasn't going on Twitter and saying, oh, man, hardcore culture needs to wise up. This band hates trans people because, you know, I happen to be a trans person who got fucked up a little bit in the pit, you know? And it sucks because, like, the actual person who this happened to, I don't think they've actually been tweeting any of this shit. It's just, like, a whole bunch of people who are using this, like, unfortunate incident where one person was just going to a show and they were the victim of an unfortunate accident by somebody who is because of somebody who was stupid and wasn't paying attention to where his fists were going. He was, but he wasn't really like minding his own strength. And he was obviously being extremely fucking negligent by throwing a punch that hard. Because if somebody ends up with a fucking injury as bad as this person did while wearing a foam helmet, then you know it's gotta be pretty fucking bad. So that person was being extremely careless and fucking rude. But obviously the band is fucking transphobic because of that. And the entire weird discourse happening online right now around hardcore, where it's just people going like, oh, well, you shouldn't have a show where people are punching each other. How about fuck you? How about fuck you? How about you come to the pit and I could no, that's not it. That's not the way to respond. But you get what I mean. It's like there's a certain type of etiquette in the pit, and generally speaking, we try to police ourselves as best as we can. And I think that the way, like, what pissed me off the most, right, wasn't that it was like, oh, well, like, if all the discourse was just, this guy acted out of line. This guy in the crowd acted out of line, and he threw a punch way too hard at somebody who wasn't expecting it, and he, like, straight up targeted somebody for crowd killing. That's one thing. Say, this guy's a piece of shit. All you gotta do is just do that and say, this guy's a fucking asshole for doing this. Nobody's gonna disagree with you, you know? But the problem is that, like, these people on Twitter were just like, oh, well, From Joy's a transphobic band and they hate furries because they let someone in their audience, you know, throw a sucker punch at somebody in a fursuit. Motherfucker, do you think somebody in the fucking band is gonna drop their fucking guitar when they're playing and run down into the pit to go break up a fight? No! But the whole point of hardcore is that we need to fucking, you know, like, we need to, like, actually, you know, like, clean up our, we have to, like, you know, keep our fucking spaces, you know, like, well kept and everything. Like, we can't have a bystander effect in the pit. It's the exact opposite of what pit etiquette and pit culture needs to be. So the fact that these people were, like, basically making From Joy the band the focus of this discourse, instead of saying this person acted out of line and shouldn't have hit somebody this hard, that's fucked up. It was like, oh, well, they fucking, it's gross. It's gross. And then it was like, oh, well, they posted a video about it. You know, they posted the video of it to Twitter and, you know, posted, like, a funny caption. It's like, yeah, because they didn't know that that person got hurt that bad. People post videos of fucking, like, people throwing down in the pit all the goddamn time. Fucking, I started following Ballista because there's a fucking video of their vocalist whipping people with a belt in the pit. That's funny. I saw a video of a guy run up on stage and start crowd killing people with the brush end of a broom. That's funny. That's cool. I like that in hardcore because, like, there's an understanding there where it's like, if you don't want to be a part of the violence, you don't have to be in the pit. If something happens and somebody's acting out of line and they hit somebody like that, then go fuck them up. You know? It's just like, it's whack, because it's like, oh, well, they must be transphobic, or they must hate furries because they posted this video. It's like, no, motherfucker, they do what they do anytime something that's, like, you know, definitely, like, different or unique happens in the pit that's, like, definitely worth taking a look at, you know? It's whack. It's stupid. Can't stand it. And of course, by extension, you've seen a lot of, like, actually transphobic people come out the fucking woodwork to attack members of bands that are saying, hey, maybe you guys shouldn't be dragging From Joy this hard. Bands there to play, not to babysit? Exactly. Like, look, alright, we all love watching the videos where, like, bands like Linkin Park stop the whole show and call out somebody in the audience who's being a piece of shit. But I hate to say it, but those guys are outliers. And I don't think it's a good idea to expect every band to do that. You know how much effort goes into playing and maintaining the crowd energy and everything else at a show? When it comes down to it, like, people on the stage, half the time, people on the stage are trying to fucking dodge drop kicks themselves. People on the stage are trying to avoid getting hit. Y'all ever seen Red Scare play live? Poor Casey's getting drop kicked into the fucking moon. That's why their last ever LP, the fucking album cover art for it is Casey getting drop kicked. You know, after he's talking about jacking off horses for 6 hours a day. But that's a whole other story. Hardcore discourse over. Point being, if you're in the pit, fucking watch out for your homies, take care of people, don't target people, and if you see somebody being targeted, do something about it. Don't go to Twitter to say that the band is transphobic because you saw somebody who was trans being targeted by somebody, and the band apparently just, like, saw it and didn't do anything because they were playing live, and obviously didn't know this person was trans. Don't do that. Because it waters down discourse focusing on actual transphobia. Obviously, I don't mean to tone police, because that's still something you have to worry about. This is a delicate balance that we all kind of have to walk atop, you know? But that's the point. And I do hope that the person who was hit as hard as they did recovers as quickly as they can. And I think there's presently a GoFundMe for medical bills, I think. If there is, I'm gonna see about linking it for the second half of the show and see if anybody just wants to give a little bit. Because obviously, how's anyone supposed to know? Exactly, that's what I'm saying. It was the wrong thing. It was so the wrong thing, and there's a straight from the path line where it's like when it all comes crashing down, motherfuckers want in on the action. These people, I feel like a lot of these people don't actually give a shit about, like, the state of this person. They just kind of want to, like, go out there and start a fucking fight on the internet. Because you got people going up and fucking, like, the vocalist of Ballista's DMs and just dropping a bunch of slurs, and it's like, what is the point? Do you think the person who's currently sitting in the hospital with, like, a fucking, like, severe head injury wants to know that you're doing this for them? I don't think they do, dog. I'm gonna be real with you. I know I've been spending, like, the past 30 minutes saying don't speak for somebody else, but I think I could speak for somebody when saying I don't think anybody would want that. Let's be real, dog. But I've said all I need to say. You know, I've made my point. How about I spin it into a good thing? Trying to keep that kind of thing from happening is the exact type of culture I keep trying to inspire among my community when it comes to the PCHC. Obviously, when you tune into my stream, none of you are punching each other in the face. To my knowledge. If you do, could you show me, though? I think that would be cool. But the point is, well, I try to keep my community like a hardcore show to the point where it's like we're all supposed to be kind of there for each other, you know? We're all kind of supposed to be, you know, looking out for each other. It's all about getting everything out and being true to yourselves, even if, like, if the true to yourself means being something that you usually get looked at weird for doing in regular society. Try not to throw hands these days unless needed. I haven't thrown hands with somebody in over a decade, and I'm not looking to start it anytime soon. In the pit, that's another thing, though. I fucking spin kick with the best of them. Well, at least I did. before I, you know, got my shit rocked by a bunch of Tennessee hardcore kids or Kentucky hardcore kids. What am I doing in my inventory right now? I'm looking for the advanced tools because I started waffling about the topic at hand. Right. Before we get too off topic again, ID, what was the thing you wanted to ask, by the way? Was it related to fear? I bet it was related to fear. Story says I haven't been in the pit in years. I haven't been in the pit in years, in like a year, because I'm not trying to get my shit rocked again. If I go to a hardcore show, I'll be standing on the sidelines. I'll do a stage dive. Lord help me, if I can get myself to another fucking show at like the local bar that all my homies play at, I will stage dive like 3 fucking times, dog. I'll do a mic steal and I'll scream with the best of them. But I ain't getting in the pit, because I ain't got the insurance for that. You can get me in the pit when I've got insurance. I started going to the pit and wilding out because I had a mad death wish. I got shit to live for now, man. I can't be playing with my life like that. So now when I go to the Freedom Base, we can get Screw his tools and their medic some medical supplies. Speaking of hardcore, you know what's a fucking band I've been listening to lately? There's this Sydney hardcore band called Speed. I fucking love them. They're really, really good. Got nothing but love for their sound. They got a fucking EP out on Spotify called Gang Called Speed. It came out last year. As it stands right now, though, I've primarily been listening to a lot of folk rock. Have I talked about The National on stream? You don't know, actually. Ever since, like, the last couple of times I've been ruminating on myself, I haven't talked about it on stream. Some of y'all might have seen some tweets where I've been talking about sort of, like, my identity as a VTuber and how I sort of lean towards my aesthetics and how I would like to think of them as. And I realized that I don't really, like, identify with the idea of, like, what the... Obviously, like, the whole point of a VTuber, or as any type of artist or content creator, a term that I have a very large amount of disapproval for, but I do have to invoke it in this instance, is that you don't want to play up to just the conventions of any label you put on yourself. You want to find a way to redefine that. But, so I think, like, the fact that I, like, was like, oh, well, you know what, I don't really identify with what most horror VTubers are, but, like, why not just still be a horror VTuber and be content with just not being like other horror VTubers, you know? I think at that point when I was thinking about that, I was kind of allowing myself to live inside the eyes of others. It's a very lonely place there. So I still like the idea of labeling myself as a gloom tuber, because I think the overall vibe of my streams when you tune in the beginning and there's a staticky busted TV with you know, with like some really noisy folk playing, or you know, you come to the end and there's like all of that and the fucking dusty VHS showing the fan art fridge and everything. You know, I keep a somber feeling to my streams. But, you know, there's somberness in horror. Dorothy says, I'm going to see Guar on Thursday with my partner. Yo, good shit. I hope it goes well, homie. I haven't really listened to them before. I've been meaning to at some point, but I think I would have to be in the right headspace. I was going to see the Wonder Years this September. I was all set up to go see them for the 10-year anniversary tour of their Greatest Generation album. But the person I was going to go with fell through, and I didn't really end up being able to get the days off of work anyway. So I said, well, I guess just fuck it then, huh? Which was a shame. And I really would have liked to go see them. I fucking love the Wonder Years, dog. Also, I think I realized it, but I think ID10 didn't mean to ask me anything. I think he just meant, before I forget, let me follow. Whoops. Don't I look the fool? Who was the band Oh, you know who's a band I want to see live? High Viz. Dorothy, do you know High Viz? Have I talked to you about High Viz? High Viz is a band I will not stop talking about. Nix knows I love High Viz. Spiral and Patch and Ted and Post know I love High Viz. Fucking Pinch loves High Viz. Ellie knows I love high vis. Everybody in my fucking friend groups know high vis, and some of them love high vis too. But I fucking love high vis, and if I ever get a chance to see them, if I ever get a chance to be in the crowd when I hear those opening fucking drum notes of Choose to Lose, and I hear fucking what's his name, the man get on the fucking mic and just start going nuts on it. Oh my god. Hey Balkuzi777, how you doing today, boss? I know chicken breaky of donkey. Yeah, this is totally me when I popali suke. I'm la. Well, you know what? Honestly, good timing, Balkuzi, because when I come back from our break, you will be hearing a lot of that, actually. Watch this. Choosing to start military. Interesting. Well, I hope it goes well for you, boss. Alright, let's turn in that other quest, because man up here needed something. Oh no, did I take a Zone Raker mission? Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. Dude, I can't do a fucking Zone Raker mission. Oh. Wait. Yep. Oh god. This is a fucking spy mission. Spy missions suck. Because the spy... Okay, actually, no, I haven't done a single one in the newer version of the game, so for all I know, the AI could be fixed. I should hope so. Goosefish, welcome on in, Goose. How are you doing today? It's good to fucking see you. Finished the audiobook for Roadside Picnic. Nice! How was it, dog? I've been meaning to read that at some point. I haven't secured a copy of it. I do have a copy of Metro 2033, and I've got a bunch of fucking Cormac McCarthy books I've been meaning to dig into. Primarily a copy of Orchard Keeper, which I want to start with. Loved it. Awesome! Have you seen Tarkovsky's fucking film adaptation of it, Stalker, from 1979 yet? Ah, what am I kidding? You've probably seen that first. I've seen it, but I haven't read the book yet. And thank you for the tea time, Nix. I appreciate it. I'll do that as soon as we go to our BRB state, which I will do as soon as I'm done turning all of our missions. Haven't, but I want to. You absolutely should. I kept having people trying to talk me out of it by saying that I wouldn't like it because it's not action like the Stalker games, but that is 100% not true, because the fact that it's more of a philosophical rumination on the actual true freedoms that society allows us versus the true freedoms that we as human beings, as mankind, are allowed to us by nature and the world itself, that are often removed from us by society, is an interesting fucking movie. It's a fucking great film, and I love what it does. I love how it talks about what we allow ourselves to believe are the true things that we desire versus what we truly desire deep down. And the dichotomy of that meeting alongside the whole sort of like war between like, are we really free when we live in society? It's a movie that I think everybody should see at least once. I think it's a beautiful piece of atmosphere and of style, of art, and of love for the medium. Tarkovsky fucking killed it on that movie, and you like it. Call of Pripyat was the first piece of media in the sphere I took part of. Honestly, you could do a hell of a lot worse. Call of Pripyat is a little bit lacking on the oppressive atmosphere that makes Shadow Chernobyl such a beloved title to this day. But in terms of its gameplay, it is definitely the most solid. It's the least buggy in the series. It's the most, like, advanced in terms of its gameplay mechanics, and its shooting is definitely a little bit smoother. It's definitely the least jank in a series that is known primarily for being extremely jank. Doris, this is next month. I'm going to go see Murder Dolls. Ooh. Oh no, you said play. You said, oh wait, no, Wednesday 13. Wednesday 13, play a Murder Dolls show. You say Murder Dolls, and now I'm just thinking about Joey, and I miss Joey, man. I fucking miss Joey Jordison. Me and Nix and Chance were sitting in the call, just watching videos of Joey Jordison play drums and listening to early Slipknot tunes and being like, damn, dude, like, Joey was goated. Joey, I think, is to this day still one of the most, like, I think he deserves to go down in history as one of the greatest metal drummers of his generation, if not the greatest. I don't think there are very many drummers I can think of who come even close to doing what Joey did. He was the singer of Murder Dolls, and this is a tribute to Joey. Ah, that makes sense. Fucking loved him. God, when I remember seeing the like little like memorial segment that Slipknot put up for Paul when he passed, and I remember this is a sunlight bug. This is a sunlight bug. The sun should not be coming through this hill like this. That is really funny, actually. But yeah, I remember when they did their little memorial segment and Joey just went up to fucking Paul's overalls and he hugged him as tight as he could. And you're like, Jesus, man, this sucks. I really hate to say it, but losing Paul, I think, was like, I don't want to say it was the nail in the coffin for Slipknot, but I think it was the first, like, the sign of, like, change that was completely unavoidable. You know, it was a point of no return for the band. A band that had remained the exact same group of people for 4 albums and almost a whole fucking decade was now, like, and over a decade, actually, was now no longer that. And they had to bring in new people. And of course, when Paul left, because Joey started dealing with that illness that he had, and they didn't want to wait for him to heal, they just wanted to get back to touring, so they just fucking fired him. Hell, you'll notice in a lot of press that Joey did for stuff like interviews and everything for a good long while after, he didn't mention that he was in Slipknot. He mentioned, I mean, obviously he mentioned all of the bands that he was actively in at that moment. I feel like me saying that, like, he just didn't mention that he was in Slipknot because he was bitter about that. I think that's putting words in a person's mouth, actually, so I'm going to retract that statement. I think he was mainly just focusing on bands that he was actively a part of at that point. Paul and Joey wrote a lot more of the music than they want to admit. Oh yeah, no. Paul was fucking integral to Slipknot. Like, not just in, like, the writing, not just in the playing, not just in his stage presence, but as a member of the band and the role he played in the dynamic of the band. Paul was, like, the closest thing that Slipknot had to a straight man. I feel like after that point, the closest thing we had was Jim. Jim's great. Jim's a jolly dude. I love that man, you know? But, like, nobody's gonna be like Paul. And nobody should try to be like Paul. Because there was only one Paul Gray. And you know what? I'm happy we had him at all. I'm sad that he's gone, and I miss the fuck out of him. I miss the fuck out of his music, and I miss the fuck out of the energy that he brought. But I'm happy that we had him at all. So, we're about to hit the 2-hour point. I've just been talking about shit and doing odds and ends and, like, odd runs for, like, almost 2 fucking hours. When I come back, we are going to reload some hollow point ammunition and get ourselves all armed up and ready to go for tonight's raid. After that, we're going to head on down to the Dark Valley and clear out the bandit base, and we'll end ourselves there. So, I will be right back, and I'll probably put on some tea for Nix. So, don't go anywhere, because I will see you in just a bit. It had to be the Ride to Hell Retribution music, huh? It really, really had to be that, huh? Yeah, alright. Damn, I fucking love this song. Alright. So, I'm back. I'm making up the tea for Nick's. What's on the menu for tonight? It's ginger peach from Stash. It's a company that I'm starting to really enjoy. This one, I always love reading off the ingredients of my tea. But presently, we're looking at ingredients including green tea, ginger, natural peach flavor, and matcha. Ginger root. So it's green tea. It's going to be good to keep my stomach from being too acidic, and the peach and ginger will also be good for my anxiety. So, ginger peach is the good stuff, actually. I probably should have had a cup of that before I started. Maybe I'll just start making it a... I think I'll start making it a habit to have tea in my evenings instead of coffee. I think that's for the better. But, yeah. Fuck me. I hope y'all are having a good evening presently. I'm enjoying my time with y'all as usual. It's been great, actually. I've had a lot of really good discussion here with y'all tonight, and we're only halfway through. But that's all that matters, is I'm having a fucking blast here with you tonight. So I'm going to bring us back into the bar, and then by extension the game, in just a little bit of a moment. Then we'll get to reloading some cartridges and properly prepping ourselves for the bandit raid. And we'll finish off the night by just, you know, clapping a whole lot of gopniks. Be some nice stress relief. Because, man, it's been a fucking week. It's been a month. It's been a year. Hey, I never thought that being a live 2D VTuber was going to take so much out of me. It just kind of does, though. So, hi, everybody. Welcome on back. It's good to see you all, as always. And I appreciate your time that you are, you know, giving it to me and allowing me to give you mine. For those who may have joined us during our break, I am Too Much Sascha, the Chernobyl battle maid. I came here as a mercenary before disappearing for 2 weeks, reappearing with a new tattoo and a new mission. Whenever I'm not out hunting mutants, artifacts, people, or just cooking and cleaning, I'm here in the back rooms of the bar, streaming spooky shooty games on Twitch. Every Tuesday I play Stalker, and I'm continuing that tonight. Probably should have done that at the beginning of stream, but it's alright. So, we are going to be continuing our stream in just a moment. But first up, obviously, I want to actually wait for my tea to get ready and pour that up. Because I notice if I turn on the teapot while I'm... Ah, there's the beep. Please, pour your fucking water out of the beep. I'm only boiling this to 175 degrees, actually. Which is optimal for green tea. Whoa. This tea kettle has been absolutely integral to my post-quarantine life. Holy fuck. I can't think of any other appliance I bought that was this useful to me. It just is. Alright, tea's been poured out and the timer has been set. Let's get back to the game, shall we? Because we have some bullets to load. And, there's a lot of those. Oh. So here we find ourselves. Alright, where's my man? Where's my number one guy? I should probably drink something first. That's Semyon. I want Syoma. There he is. Alright, let's get to work. Ammo. Load up the fucking... I have so many ammo parts at... Fuck, I forgot the gunsmithing tools. Okay, hold on to these.
Just get out of the fucking way.
Ah, man, I hope I don't lose valuable time. I mean, because I gave Mangun all of the toolkits, he won't, like, charge me if I keep asking him to let me use his vice. So if I run out of time, I could just start it over again. But I don't like to waste time. Least of all yours. But that's okay. How foolish of me. I don't know why I have 2 gunsmithing kits. Nobody else, you never get any quests to obtain them. They are an item that is literally only useful to the player and nobody else. So, finding out a good quest or just like finding a good seller is a sticking point. I suppose maybe a mechanic like Mangun or Xenotech would be optimal for that.
Привет.
Привет, брат. Here we go. Alright, come over here. You are all I need. No, you're not, actually. I need the other guy. Alright, let's get to working. Let's see how much ammo we can make. I'm obviously going to front load the hollow point rounds. I have like 200 parts, and it takes about 4 ammo parts to make each 15. So if I do this if I do the math while I'm presently doing this, I'll be able to make about 50 rounds. Oh, that's actually really not much. Oh wait, 50 times 15 now. $900 rounds theoretically. I'm not going to go through all of that though, because I don't think I have that many old or dirty rounds that need to be reloaded anyway. Now we're going to see how good hollow point rounds are when used against your average Gopnik. I tend to not really buy hollow points, because if I'm going to be expending extra money for a different cartridge of bullet, I'd prefer to just buy the cartridge of bullet that is guaranteed to kill higher grade enemies. So, therein lies the problem that for its price, I think hollow point ammo... Okay, actually that's not correct. Because hollow point ammo is garbage for killing people. Because it's obviously like... Because when if you're going to be buying more expensive ammo at higher levels and in late game, you're obviously going to want to be buying a type of ammo that is useful for dealing with late game enemies, 90% of which usually tend to be heavily armored. But I'll tell you what hollow point ammo is good for. Mutants. Hollow point ammo is a miracle against mutants. You can one-hit or two-hit a couple of different things that would normally take a lot more rounds if you're using hollow point ammo. So generally speaking, I think I like to make use of that, and if it doesn't end up being that useful with the bandits, which it might not, because who knows. But generally speaking, hollow point ammo I think is the way to go if you're dealing with mutants, but armor piercing is obviously for definitely late game enemy types like mercs and monoliths. But if you're dealing with bandits, I'm sure hollow point will still be somewhat useful to me. I can only hope anyway. Just saying. Is that guy playing fucking House of the Rising Sun? I swear to God, he's playing House of the Rising Sun. Unless it's a pseudo-giant, those things' hides are tough as fuck. Yeah, if I remember correctly, I think armor-piercing ammo was genuinely more damaging to pseudo-giants than FMJ or HP. I can't say the same for chimeras. Most mutants in this game don't tend to really have, like, thick hides to the point where, like, armor piercing is necessary. Danabar! Holy shit, it's been a fucking while. How are you doing tonight, boss? I missed you. Finally caught you on stream. Yep, you did. You caught the elusive Sascha. Tell me all about your day, boss. What you been up to? While I load these fucking bullets. Give me a sec. Okay, he did charge me today. That's okay. Ginger peach and green tea with honey. This is good. I am running low on honey, though. I think I'll have to go get some at work tomorrow, which sucks, but... Oh, it is what it is. It could be far worse. sounds good. And indeed, it smells really good. Recently, I finally stopped by my old job to pick up some pumpkin flavored coffee beans because the coconut coffee beans weren't really fitting for the present climate. As much as I do love the smell of coconut, when I'm trying to keep my room in a nice fall vibe, pumpkin isn't really the move. So coconut isn't really the move. So I got myself some coconut flavored coffee beans, and they work wonders. So you've got like a weird hint of like pumpkin in my room, but now there's also the peach and ginger. So it's weird, but it's a nice smell. My room smells good, and so do I, and that's all that matters, because as an autistic person, I'm extremely sensitive to smells. If a person just smells off, I can just not want to be around them. I'm weird like that. Real? Not to like an insane degree, but it can be like, I don't know, like if somebody like smells like a little bit bad, it's like, I'm sorry, dog, I can't stand near you. How many other SVD mags do we have? None. Okay, I'll have to make do with this. Look at that, 112 hollow point rounds and 241 FMJ. Oh, you know what? Hold up. Let's get some AP rounds while I'm at it. If I'm doing this, I might as well do them all. Fucking love that song. Dennis Heathen says, help us, we're under fire from thugs in the Great Swamp. That's crazy. I hope you fixed that. I don't have a lot of time. I should be able to do all of the armor-piercing rounds at the very least. Danabar says, I've really fucking missed watching you on stream, Sasha. Oh, I'm sorry I haven't really gotten to see you in a while, but it's really wonderful to see you in here, Danabar. I really hope the times have been kind to you, because times have been a little bit tough for everybody, I think. In their own ways. I haven't seen Runo in a bit. She's had a lot going on, but I really hope she's staying safe out there. Tonight is a comfy, de-stressing kind of night. We're sitting down, loading up some rounds, and when we're all done, we're gonna head on down to the Dark Valley and clear out the bandit base. Personally, if I'm drinking any type of peach tea, I generally tend to prefer peach tea that's based on a black, like a combination of black and green tea together. Usually a combination of Earl Grey and some jasmine green tea, or Chinese green tea, along with some peach, is a really, really good triple mix. But peach and ginger and green tea is nice. I usually tend to get ginger lemon, which isn't based on any type of caffeinated tea. I guess I'll be staying up a little bit later tonight, but I have a pretty short shift tomorrow. God. What music am I gonna listen to tomorrow? I've been getting back into a lot of La Dispute. Would you all in the chat believe me if I told you that I'm considering doing a La Dispute vocal cover? Not one of their louder or more, like, you know, intense songs. I'm thinking about doing a cover of their song Woman in Mirror. Which is a mainly kind of just, like, spoken and, like, half, like, you know, sort of, like, speaking, singing, half-sung type of song. And it's literally just about the protagonist of the story from that album, Rooms of the House, just watching his partner doing her makeup. And sort of like how all of these, like, these moments over the course of their relationship and their lives, you know, there are like so many of these moments of just sitting down and doing makeup and stuff like that. And and how they all sort of like almost create like a sort of like map or a calendar or timeline in his mind, where it's just like connecting all of these moments. And you can almost like, I'm sure everybody can relate to the idea of just being like, when you think about time and you think about your life and everything, there's like the ways that we sort of like measure our time are all very different to one another. And for a lot of us, if we tend to lead very routine lives, I feel like just the idea of being like, well, when I was doing this thing that I always do, here's what was happening that time, or here's what was happening this other time. And those types of references allow us to sort of create a frame in our mind that allows us to understand the context and the time and the place for our minds. And I think that's a cool thing. And that's why I like Woman in Mirror, because it's all about that. It's all about how important to us even the most like simple and seemingly mundane moments can be, and the combination of those things all together is really cool. I love the fuck out of that song. Didn't I have more fucking HP ammo than this?
Интересно, сколько у меня в заначке скопилось?
I thought I had more than this.
Считывал давно.
Oh, well. Still 2 whole mags of the stuff. Either that or the song, fuck. Throat's a little bit fucked today. Either that or the song, Objects in Space. Nix, I know I talked to you about that. Objects in Space is a song I have undying love for. It's a powerful track. It's a lovely track. It's an important sort of watershed moment and you know, like sort of like final goodbye for a fantastic album that lives on in my heart for a very long time. Everybody in chat, if any of you are hurting for music to listen to, and you find you would be in any way interested in an album that is basically a like emo and like alt rock and post-hardcore take on a sort of non-linear storyline that is all about memories and the emotional weight we place in minute spaces and like souvenirs and objects that we kind of like hold on to. An album that's very much about like just the importance of a time and place, as much as the things that happen in those times and places. I cannot recommend Rooms of the House enough. I know I've talked about it on stream before, but god damn it, I'm not gonna stop talking about it. Because it's a modern masterpiece. And I think everybody needs to listen to it at least once. That's all I gotta say. Can I load these rounds any slower? Oh. Okay. So we got our shotgun with fucking buckshot. We got our rifle with multiple types of ammunition. We got our SVD. We got our shotty. We got our pistol. I think we're all ready to go, actually. Danabar's nice emotes, by the way. Last time I was here, you didn't have... Oh! Danabar! You weren't here for the re-debut, then. Danabar, when you were last here, I was a PNG tuber. And now I'm not anymore. Oh, I didn't realize it'd be that long. Fuck. Danabar says, for today, I can't stay any longer. I wanted to stop by, sub, and say hi. Med school has been kicking my ass. Nothing but love. We'll stop by this Thursday. Wonderful. Thank you so much, by the way. It really means a lot to see you. Sorry for the wall of text. Oh, don't worry about it. I really hope you kick med school's ass right back. You got this, homie. We're all rooting for you here. Maybe I can just leave the Dragonov at home. Do I really need to bring that with me? Here's what I do need to bring. Fucking water? Starting to get low on non-contaminated food. Got my lucky strikes, at least. Oh, speaking of food, Nix, when you get a chance, could you add a little show called Utopia to the list of things that we're watching, by the way? Gotcha. Thank you. Appreciate you. Maybe I will take the Dragonov just as a fucking emergency measure. Wish I could put a red dot on this thing. Wait, all dovetail mounted scopes except red dot sights. You know what? If you could put a red dot sight on an SVD, it would be a little bit bullshit. I'll give them that. Alright, I'm all ready to go. Oh, I don't need the suppressor though. We'll ditch that. Ammo can go back in the box. And the gunsmithing kit too. Don't want to carry any vodka with me right now. We've got repair kits. What I wouldn't do for a better repair kit for my armor. Considering I've just come into some money, I think I'll buy a little bit off of our man. It's a shame I couldn't get this KS-23 up and running before this raid. She would have been an indispensable resource at this time and place. Let's see what mags we've got. Hollow point. 1, 2. And the rest can be FMJ. We'll ditch one of them for an SVD mag, though. Just in case I do need to reload. Dorothy says, I just started watching Baskets with my partner, Rip Louis Anderson. Tell me about that. I'm actually not familiar with that. I'd like to know.
Oh, привет.
Yeah. Almost 10,000 rubles, but it'll be worth the price of admission to ensure that my suit doesn't just fucking fall apart. Granted, with 3 ballistic inserts, I really highly doubt that I'm going to be fighting for my life out there. But you never know. A lot of people weren't around for it. But back in the days of my pre-modded runs on stream, there was one bandit who used to use, like, fucking, like, who just basically cleared out the Corden, fucking rookie base that Loris and Xenotech live in. And the man caught me by surprise when I was moving around stuff between the boxes.